You called in that partner for a reason, even if that reason was painful. They reveal parts of you that deserve care. Before we talk about healing, I want to name something that many people keep quiet about. Most of us have called in partners who showed us parts of ourselves that we really didn't want to look at. Sometimes that person loves us deeply. Sometimes they hurt us. Either way, they reveal what we still carry inside. For a long time, I thought when I chose someone unhealthy, that meant something about my worth. Now I get it. It simply reflects the story I was taught to believe about myself way before that person showed up. Today I want to talk about why this happens and why it does not mean that you failed, and how it can become the doorway into a very different version of you. When you grow up in survival mode, your nervous system learns a certain definition of love, right? It learns that love might mean caretaking, walking on eggshells, staying small to stay safe, or tolerating behavior that hurts, because the alternative feels scarier. So when someone comes along into your life who mirrors those dynamics, your mind doesn't say, oh, this is toxic. Your body says, this is familiar. And familiar feels safer than healthy. This is not a failure. It's programming. Programming that can be rewritten once you see it clearly. The people we choose tend to mirror the places where our deepest wounds still live. They show us how we talk to ourselves. They show us what we believe we deserve. They show us which boundaries we never learned. They show us the version of ourselves we became to survive. That mirror can be painful, but it is also powerful. Without it, most of us wouldn't stop long enough to ask the harder questions. Questions like, why did I think that was acceptable when my body knew better? Why did I shrink? Why did I feel responsible for someone else's emotional storms? Why did I become the fixer? These questions are not judgments. They're invitations. Invitations to understand ourselves better and unlearn what harmed us. When I look back on my own story, I see exactly why I ended up in the relationships that I did. I didn't end up there because I was weak. I ended up there because I had a wound that taught me I had to earn love. I had to carry more than my share. A wound that convinced me that my feelings mattered less than keeping the peace. Living with someone who reinforced those wounds forced me to confront them in my life, and not in a gentle way, but in a way that made me look and see just how little compassion I had for myself. I had to see my patterns reflected back at me before I could challenge them. But once I saw them, I couldn't unsee them. And that was the beginning of healing. There's always a moment when something shifts. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's a breaking point. Sometimes it's just waking up and not recognizing yourself in the mirror. Whatever it looks like, it interrupts that old pattern. It brings clarity about what you need, clarity about what is no longer acceptable, clarity about the parts of you that have been waiting to just come back home. This clarity may hurt, but it is the first step toward choosing yourself again. The lesson inside these relationships isn't self-blame. The lesson is understanding your nervous system. The lesson is understanding that your nervous system learned survival. And survival doesn't teach self-worth, but healing does. Healing begins with questions like, what part of me believed that was the best I could get? What part of me felt responsible for someone else's chaos? What part of me thought pain was the price for connection? And once you see that wound, you can tend to it. You can learn boundaries. You can learn self-trust again. You can learn to receive love instead of earning it. And you can create a new pattern. Healing happens in layers. It happens each time you choose yourself in a moment when the old version of you would have just abandoned your needs. It happens when you stop shrinking, when you stop absorbing other people's storms. It happens when you let yourself take up space. The partner who hurt you may not stay in your life. but the lessons they brought can stay with you in a healthy way. They can guide you toward safer connections, toward emotional stability, toward relationships built on respect and mutual responsibility. Your future relationships may reflect the healed version of you instead of the wounded one. If you're in the middle of this journey, you're not behind. You are learning yourself. You're learning what love is supposed to feel like. And you're learning that your past doesn't get to write the rest of your story. You called in that partner for a reason, even if that reason was painful. They reveal parts of you that deserve care, and you get to offer that care to yourself now. And as you do, the people you attract will also shift. You're not broken. You're becoming.